in the
Not and. Yes, not and. Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
not and
Yes.
similarly for or condition it is nor.
Yeah, but the only difference is that in like this one, the first one, you can see it is an
Hmm.
and one. So both the instruction will be implemented as not and. Okay, but in or, only the first instruction is implemented as kind of not, and the other one is like is fine. It's not implemented. It's like normal or kind of thing.
Okay, fine,
Okay.
Pradeep. So
Yeah.
only this situation, I mean, only we face this situation, or else we will have this no, I mean, not and which will be implemented as and, or else not or
No,
which
no,
will.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's only in this condition kind of thing, where you see the AND gate and all. Okay, so
No, no,
and yeah, it has
I'm talking about
yes.
vice versa. I mean, do we see in IDA Pro like
Okay,
the vice versa, since this is implemented as and is implemented as not and, so do
yes,
we
yes.
see the vice versa, not and as implemented as and as well?
Okay, okay. So thing is like not and kind of operators. We have only two kind of operators basically in overview: the and the or. Okay,
Okay,
so NAND, yeah, NAND. We need to kind of make it from the and only. Okay,
okay,
that's yeah, that's the case. So we
okay.
have the
Do
basic gate is and or only. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we follow this complex conditions only with and or.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, fine, Pragya.
Okay. So let's go. Okay. So today I will be covering how the functions are implemented in much more depth in the assembly language. So before I start with the function, I just want to like make you guys aware of the terms that I will be using. So over here, if you see, it's a Python code actually where so this is a function where I have implemented some kind of maybe it is doing the addition, and here I am in this line I am calling that function. Okay, so the function here, it is getting called and it will be called as the caller. Okay, and this is the callee. Okay, the function which has been called. Okay, got it. So these terms callee and caller will be coming later, and I don't want you guys to be getting confused. Okay, so let's start with the functions now. Okay. So normally functions, which is what it is a block of code that performs a specific task. Like it can be anything, like any kind of computation, like encrypting, decrypting, or like kind of writing to a file or reading from a file and doing any other work on that. And basically, thing is like as you might be already aware, in when we are coding and all, we normally use functions to kind of like make the code look somewhat less complex, so that kind of like we if there's any common task that needs to be getting repeated, we just skip that common task to a definite kind of function, and we can like kind of like just call that function and give the inputs and get the output from them. So we don't have to kind of write the same code again. That's why we kind of implement a kind of a function thing. Okay, so as you might be knowing that there are three basic components in a function. First is the input, that is kind of going inside the function, kind of like what we are passing into the function, the body of the function where all the computations are performed, and the return value, which is like kind of returned back by the function. Okay, so calling function typically requires jumps to another location in memory. After function is done, execution continues at instruction after original function call. So what I mean by that is like how the as you have seen how the IDA Pro things are getting implemented is that the functions are at a specific offset, and we kind of jump to that kind of offset from where that function starts. And once that code block has been done, we return back to the next line from where we call the function. So I will just show that to you in IDA Pro quickly. So let's start the VM. Okay, and let's load up the IDA. Yeah, IDA Pro is already started. Let's go to over here. Okay, so what is happening over here is let's go to any function like sub. Um,
Pragyan. So
Yes,
why can we
yes.
see all these functions in the text section?
Can you please repeat, Saiva? I didn't got it. I think there's some audio issues. Can
Yeah.
you please repeat?
Can you open that functions window again where we can see all the functions? Yeah. So why
Okay.
are all these functions being shown in the dot text section?
Okay, so dot text is, so there are actually different kind of sections in a portable executable. Okay, and dot text section of that normally contains the code of that executable. Like dot data will be containing, suppose, any initialized variable value kind of thing. Like dot resource will contain resources like what the image of the executable, what any kind of any image of that icon image of that executable. Similarly, dot text is normally for kind of keeping the executable code of that process. That's a normal behavior. But many times what happen is like malware can also maybe keep code in other sections also, like dot data or dot resource, and maybe kind of they can like fetch it from there and decrypt that and kind of load directly that into the RAM memory. Okay, but
Oh,
normally for any kind of process you will normally see majority of the code will be in the dot text section.
okay, Pragyan, got it.
Yeah. So let's see that. Okay. Okay. So what I mean to say is that how the functions are getting called is that suppose there was a function calling some like sub something like that, like calling that function. So what will happen is like from by this call function, we will jump to the offset of that function. We will jumping to the offset of this function. Okay. And once that function, the work is done, the whatever code is there in this function, whatever code, whatever work has been done, kind of, then we will jump to the next line over here, the one from 4181. Okay, so this is how actually the jumping happens in a function. We jump to the offset of the function, and in the function the last line will be something to kind of jump back to the next line over here. Okay, so that's how the function flow happens in assembly language. Okay, so let's go again. Actions when calling function. Okay, so now there are different kind of actions that needs to be performed when we are about to call a function. So the first one is you are already aware of that, pass in the parameters. So as we have already seen, like when we are like calling any function like add function with kind of maybe with some values 2 and 3, so that value may either be passed to the stack or maybe saved in the register. Okay, and then when we will be inside that function will be like calling, will be fetching those values from the either from the stack or from the register value, and maybe then using it for whatever code is written inside that function. Okay, and when we are calling any function, before that we are also saving the return pointer. So what I mean is that, so before we jump to this function, what we will do is we will